So I woke up one morning and realized that I kind of suck at Minecraft Duels. So I brainstormed all the possible options and how I could possibly get better at Minecraft Duels. After a little bit of brainstorming, the answer was obvious. I would play 100 Hypixel Duels. 100 Hypixel Blitz Duels. Now, my first duel is against this guy called Samurai Blue, and I expected him to be the samurai. Instead, it seems that his strategy was to employ Feline Samurai. But he was throwing a lot of snowballs at me. I kept trying to rush up there and kill him. Unfortunately, he didn't want to be killed, until randomly he just decided to stop throwing the snowballs and block around the arena. I was trying to chase him down. Of course, it's a little difficult to do when he's just blocking around and trying everything in his power to get away, which I can understand. I'm a pretty scary guy, but eventually he just kind of stopped there, spawned in a witch, and I was able to get the kill because he literally just stopped moving. Of course, the second duel was also against Samurai Guy, except this time he kind of changed up his strat. He tried to get me in a boat. I guess he didn't realize that I'm not an Enderman, and he used an axe, which obviously clearly did not work out for him. Now, already I was 2-0ing because I am basically Dream, but unfortunately, my greatest weakness, this guy had an archer kit, and for some reason, rather than standing back, he decided to get awfully close to me with that bow, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. If you guys have ever been in a war before, you'll know that bow and arrows are supposed to be ranged weapons, and that's why I won this one. Of course, the fourth one was against the same guy. This time he kind of learned his lesson a little bit better. He was kind of standing a little further back, but of course I was strafing around. For some reason, he sucks at aiming. He also has a Disquavis skin, so that's got to count for something. But yeah, he actually hit me once there, but he really just was not hitting me, and it was honestly, I would say it was probably pretty embarrassing for him. But eventually, I got in close enough that I could just kind of kill him pretty much unchallenged. But for some reason, he was not done fighting me. This time, once again, he kind of decided to stay back a little bit, which was probably the better strat than his first duel. Once again, he sucked at aiming, so I was just strafing around. He was missing every shot, and at this point, I thought I must be literally Dream or somebody insane at PvP, but it turns out I was just fighting the worst PvPers on the planet. But that's alright, because I once again went in. This time, he actually got a few pretty good hits on me, but I was still able to kill him pretty easily. Once again, Tactile Cash 9268 was back for more. Once again, standing back. That arrow just was completely too short. That one hit me, though. He got a little bit better with his aiming here, although, to be fair, maybe not a whole lot. I did take a few good hits here, and I was actually starting to get a little scared here because he had done quite a bit of health to me with his bow, but unfortunately, right there at the end, he kind of sucked at aiming again, and I was able to win in the final exchange. Guess who it is? It's Tactile Cash again. Now this time, Johnny Cash decided to build some wooden pillars over there. I don't really know what the plan was. He was trying to go behind them. The thing is, he never really did, so I'm not really sure what the idea was there, but whatever the case, he once again sucked at aiming, so I kind of just ran up, and once I got close enough, I stabbed him a few times, and he got one little bow shot on me, but, it is what it is. I'll take a bow shot to the face all day. It's whatever, and he was dead. Now, Mr. Bow Spam got really tired of my sword spamming, so instead he decided to switch to the same kit as me. He used the Knight kit this time, and once again, he also sucks at aiming with the sword, as it turns out, so I was able to kill him. But obviously that was just a fluke, because this man is literally the reincarnation of Technoblade, so he came back again for more. This time, I actually thought for a moment I was going to flawless him, but he did get a couple hits on there when he was pretty low. But yes, I did win pretty easily. Now, obviously, what he was doing wrong that entire time was not using enough blocks, so this time he used a few blocks. I decided to use one, or a few, actually, strategic blocks, and once again, that actually did kind of help me out there. Got a couple hits on him early, and once again, the man was dead. Now, at this point, I was feeling pretty good at 10-0, but I had fought two people, and they were both really bad. So this time, we had a totally new opponent. He was kind of running away there for a minute, but he came in eventually to kind of fight me. And he was doing pretty well, I thought, for a moment there. He actually got me below half health, but I did manage to kill him. Alright, once again, we're fighting Mr. Grim Reaper over here. Now, of course, he's about to visit the Grim Reaper after I kill him in this epic duel. He's running away for some reason, but, you know, that block was really not very strategic because I got a free couple hits on them, and now we start the final exchange, but I have a lot more health, and I'm able to win. Now, this time I'm fighting a fellow ninja. Luckily, I had a better sensei, so we ran up to each other, and I started hitting him a little bit. You know, that's how you do in a Hypixel duel. He used some potions. I don't really know what the potions were, but it really did not help him at all. Now, our ninja sparring was not over because he came back for a little bit more on duel number 14. Of course, he was kind of standing back for a little bit, but he came up, and once again, I was able to kill him with relative ease. So I guess Ninja Guy had enough. Now we're fighting OTCL, and as you can see, this guy is using an archer kit, which is interesting because he hasn't really shot a single arrow just yet, but he got up close. For some reason, he decided getting up close with a bow and arrow is the best decision. Not really sure where he learned bow and arrow school, but I killed him pretty quickly. Now, this time it was once again OTCL, our favorite, and once again he's just kind of standing around, letting me get close to him with a sword, which makes literally zero sense because he has a bow and arrow. But as I got closer, he pulled out his bow, he started shooting at me, hit me once, but overall, hit me twice, but again, once again, at this point I was pretty concerned. I built a few blocks, and I knew I was going to lose this one, so I took my first loss. Now, at this point, I was about ready to retire from Hypixel Duels because I went 15-1, but that's alright. I figured I'll just build a little wall and he'd have to come to me because obviously, you know, when you're fighting an archer, that's kind of the best thing to do. So, randomly, the archer decided that he was going to come in and try to get me in close range. He got a free hit on me, but that's alright because he came around this wall, and once again, I was pretty scared, and once again, I lost. Although it was pretty close. Alright, once again, OTCL, our favor. He's taken 2 lives off me, but luckily I'm a cat and I have 9 lives. Once again, employed the same strategy that didn't work last time for whatever reason, and I just built a little wall. Now, eventually, he started towering over the wall, so I built a little roof, figured I could start a little survival series in a house. Unfortunately, he jumped down, though, and I had to actually do the duel. So I ran in, got a little bit of health off him, because he was standing like 6 feet from me with a bow for some reason. Once again, not really sure where he went to bow school. But thankfully, he was actually, or not thankfully, he was actually a little bit better at aiming, came around this corner really good, and so I knew I was going to lose this one. Now, at this point, I was getting a little bit tired of seeing OTCL because he had taken my perfect record, because obviously I'm the best duelist there ever was, and OTCL is the only real competition for me. So this time, once again, I built a house, a pretty narrow one this time, but, you know, I just figured anything to try to stop some arrows would be nice. Eventually, he started running at me. He was building a lot of blocks. Not really sure what his strategy was here, but once again, he figured he'd go over top of me, although for some reason he got like 47 hits off before I could get one, and he won the duel. At this point, we're at duel number 20. If you can't do the math, I'll do it for you. That's 20%. And if you can't do that math, I'm concerned for your well-being. Now, this time, we weren't fighting OTCL, but we were fighting his doppelganger, who was also using the archer kit. Now, luckily, I got around this pillar really well, and he was at 1 health. Got a couple more bow shots. Didn't hit a single one. And luckily, because he was just on 1 health, I was able to run up and stab him twice, and he was dead. OTCL's twin brother once again. This time, once again, he is coming close to me, which makes no sense. I'm not really sure why every archer kit on Hypixel decides to come in for close range. Luckily, though, this one actually went to a good arching school, and so he was able to actually get a few more hits off. He did not go to a good sword school, though, so he was not able to beat me. Now, guess who's back? It is Samurai Blue once again, here for some more action. This time he came up once again, pretty close range, kind of stayed somewhere in the middle, but I figured I'd just chase him down. Eventually, I'd probably be able to kill him, which does make sense because I'm the guy with the sword. Now, unfortunately, he got a couple good bow shots here, and I was already almost half health, but I still just kept running in. I figured maybe eventually I could get close enough. Took half of his health off as well, and I was able to win. At this point, we're almost a quarter of the way through, and we finally fight our 5th opponent. Now, this guy actually did not have an archer kit, but he did have an annoying fishing rod kit, which is not good, and I'm not good about fighting fishing rods. Now, at this point, I was pretty sad. I was only 18-5 on my 23 duels. I don't know why this guy decided to tower this time. It makes literally zero sense because he's got a fishing rod. I don't know if he forgot that fishing rods don't pull players up at 1.8. Not really sure what the deal was, but for whatever reason, he decided to let me get a few free hits off before he actually came in to try to kill me. Luckily, he almost killed me, but it worked out for me. Next up, I fought this guy, Yellow Fury. I'm not really sure. It's kind of a weird name, but once again, he had the Archer kit. This time, a bit of a different colored arrow. He had some weird effect going on. I don't know, man. I'm just getting killed out here, and I was not even able to build a house in time. Not really sure why OTCL and his cousin hadn't taken Archer School from that guy, but for whatever reason, they didn't. So now we're fighting another Knight kit. He tried to build a few blocks, kind of got me stuck, and unfortunately, he took a lot of health off me early game. I did almost pull through, but I was not able to win. But that's alright, I'm here for some revenge. This time I employed the block strategy, thinking I could do the same thing he did to me, although I don't really know why I did it so early. I probably should have waited. I hopefully he would jump on this ledge, so I could employ the Technoblade strategy from the Dream and Technoblade duel, but unfortunately he did nothing of the sort, but I was able to kill him anyways. Now, Fishing Rod Guy was back for more. This time, though, he wasn't using his fishing rod quite as obnoxiously. It was to the point where I could kind of dodge it. Got a couple free hits off, got him all the way down to half health before he even got a hit on me. Still, though, he almost got me, because this guy's pretty good. Now, unfortunately, he was pretty embarrassed by his performance and decided to come back for more. This time, I placed a strategic block there. Not really sure why I did that, but that's alright. I ran up there, took a bunch of health off him, and once again, I won. Now, you may be asking me, why the heck are you so good at Minecraft PvP? You're practically a god. And I have to say, I am definitely by no means any good at Minecraft PvP, as you can see by this duel. It just happens to be that most people seem to suck. This time I stocked Taco Spear with a nice block there, got a couple hits on him. He pushed me on the ledge, but that's okay because I pushed him on the ledge, and at this point it was looking like a pretty even fight until I got a bunch of like crazy hits. Placed a bunch of blocks to try to save himself, but it was no match for me. Now, for whatever reason, we found another ninja on Hypixel. I don't know why there were so many this time. For whatever reason, though, this guy seemed to have trained with the set of the Minecraft movie, and he spawned a bunch of chicken jockeys. I kind of just ignored his mobs for the most part, just kept running away, figured he'd come to me, where his mobs were a little slower. Thankfully, the skeleton and the spider were not able to keep up with us, but the chicken jockeys were. Luckily, they had got basically 0 hits on me, and for some reason, he kind of sucked, which is probably why he had to spawn mobs to kill me. This time, Hacosphere was back once again. I ran up towards him. Here we go. I'm coming in with my strategic blocks. I don't know why I placed them there. That made no sense because now I just got hit up on a ledge, gave him a free hit, but that's okay because for some reason I got a crazy combo and won the duel. This time we did not have Mako Spear, but this time we had Hurricane, another Night Kit guy. I placed some strategic blocks right there. I figured I'd jump over him, but he tried to jump over him, tried to take advantage of that. Got a free hit there because he was randomly crouching for some reason. Not really sure what the strat was. Blocked him off, just trolling him at this point. Finally ran in. At this point, I'd barely been hit, and I started the final exchange. Now, for this duel, I knew I was screwed as soon as I saw that he was an MVP rank. He placed a few strategic blocks. This time, they were actually strategic, and he was just destroying me right now. I was actually incredibly embarrassed. I almost pulled through in the end, but not really. Now, Mr. All-Pro Let's Go was back for more. Now, thankfully, I'm the pro, not him. If you guys didn't realize, I'm actually secretly pro. He placed a strategic block there, started comboing me like crazy, and was able to beat me. Now, once again, I knew I was screwed here as soon as I saw the MVP++ rank. I don't even know who buys MVP++ rank. Apparently, it's Skatone. But he placed a bunch of strategic blocks. I ran in. He placed a potion. Not really sure what it did. At this point, I was actually feeling a little bit more confident. But it was seeming like we were trading hits, and he did a little bit more damage in the end. Alright, next up we're fighting Rafnopa, I believe is how you say that. I'm not really entirely sure. Anyways, he's got another fishing rod. I hate fishing rods. He almost flawlessed me. I had to get one hit off before I lost this duel miserably. But that's alright. I figured maybe I could tower here, but he was too close to me. And unfortunately, he got the kill pretty quickly here. I'm like, okay, but there we go. He got the kill. Alright, Rafnopa is back, and do I want to fight him? Nope. But anyways, he's back once again. He's got the fishing rod. This time I do a little bit better. I got a few hits on him, and actually I managed to pull out the victory. Now once again, we're fighting Rafnopa, and apparently we've been trading wins, but this time he ran up to me once again with the fishing rod, got a few really good hits off, but then he started comboing me like crazy, and for some reason he turned into Technoblade, and then I turned into Technoblade, but I lost anyways. Next up, we were fighting Cleansey MC, and I was about ready to cleanse him of all his pride and all his victories. So I ran up, and for some reason, he picked the stupid freaking Snowball kit. Again, I'm not really sure why everybody that can't fight on Hypixel decides to pick the Snowball kit or the Archer kit, but for whatever reason, he did, and that's pretty annoying. I got a free hit off there, came in for another hit, he got me with a potion, I checked what it was. He got me with another potion. This time he gave me invisibility for some reason. So I took my armor off, figured I could mess with him a little bit. And then I realized maybe I just not the best idea, because I'm trying to win as many as possible here. And I almost paid the price for my idiocy using the Archer kit. At this point, I knew he had no range besides snowballs, so I figured I could just stand back and try to heal a little bit. And we were kind of just staring each other down. Eventually he started running at me again. But I was like, that's fine. Opened my Twitch broadcasting, figured I could live stream the moment to Twitch. And eventually, I ran back at him. He was invisible, but that's alright because I can see through his lies, and I killed him anyways. At this point, I was considering changing my kit because I was getting a little bit bored of the night kit, but I figured, you know what, might as well stick through it for the whole video. I was fighting Rafnopa once again, and it seemed like he had the same kit, so I was pretty concerned. He threw a potion, threw 2 potions, threw 3 potions. I have no idea what any of them were. None of them hit me. Ran in. He was not using any sort of weapon. Not really sure if he was just messing with me or what, but I killed him anyways. Next up, I was fighting Cameron, but for some reason I read it as Karen, so the entire video, or the entire duel, I was trying to speak to his manager. Looked like he was going to tower up here with the night kit, but he did not do such a thing, and he beat me. Now, Karen wanted to speak to my manager once again, so they towered, and I don't know if they were trying to take the phone call or what, but they kind of fell down. I started towering as well. For some reason, I was like the slowest man in the entire world trying to tower, and I paid the price for it. Next up, we're fighting the Nakua? I don't know, man. Whatever the name is. Placed a few strategic blocks there. He was using the axe. We were kind of trading hits, but he beat me. At this point, I was happy to see some different faces. This time, we're fighting Godnon. And oh god, it was going to be an interesting duel. He placed some strategic blocks there. Didn't really do anything. And I was able to get some free hits on him and win. Now, for some reason, this time I was fighting the Alphabet. I don't really know how you would even say that name, but that's okay. I hate the Alphabet. He placed a strategic block. He's using a fishing rod, but that's alright because I started to get a bunch of free hits on him, and I was pretty confident for our final exchange. Kind of just ran through the fishing rod. Didn't really do much to me. And at this point, I was getting pretty annoyed because I was totally going to win as soon as I got up there, and sure enough, I did. Next up, we're fighting Cuz I'm Hive. As far as I'm concerned, it's Cuz I'm High. And so now here we are, replacing some strategic blocks right there. Some strategic zombies as well. Those, I kind of figured I'd just run away from the zombies. Figured he'd chase me down, and I wouldn't have to fight his zombies. Which seems like a good strategy, but for some reason he didn't want to fight. So I just figured I'd kill the zombies and his skeletons. Then he decided to hide amongst his skeletons. And luckily, the skeletons were better archers than every other archer on Hypixel. Then something else started shooting me. Yep, it looks like it was him. He was shooting me. But that's alright, because his aim wasn't as good as his skeletons. Although, I was going to lose this one. Now, I'm once again fighting Cuz I'm High. This time, I was really hoping not to fight any zombies or skeletons, and I got my wish, because instead, I have to fight frickin' blazes. I don't know why. People have to spawn mobs on a Hypixel. I didn't come here to fight mobs. I came here to fight you, idiot. So he places a bunch of strategic blocks. I don't know if he thinks he's playing Fork Knife or what it is, but he towers in a tower. The blaze hits me. At this point, I'm running away. I figure he's going to jump down and kill me, but he does not do such a thing. So I go over and I figure I'm just going to hide and make sure I don't get hit by the blazes. So I started building a little house, thinking maybe we could start a little survival SMP, him and I. He finally jumped out of his tower, and he started coming over to me. I originally wasn't going to go out and fight his blazes, but then I realized that he's just spawning blazes. He's probably not that good. I can probably beat him. Then I got hit by a blaze, got a little scared here, but luckily he was pretty low, had to run past the blazes to get to him, and I lost. I was pretty annoyed with our last duel. Luckily, this was duel number 50, so that got me feeling a little bit better because we were halfway through. He changed his kit this time, so he luckily wasn't spawning any mobs, but he did the next most annoying thing by using a fishing rod. Now, it looked like I was doing pretty well in this duel. I was getting a lot of good hits, but then he got a lot of good hits and killed me. Now, I came back later that night on the same day. I figured maybe I'd want to do the recording over a few sessions because that way, hopefully, I could do, I could get a feel for how Hypixel was at different times. We saw our first donkey kit here in Duel 51. I'm kind of just chasing the guy around in the donkey. I figure I'll try to kill it whenever it stops, so he hopefully doesn't get too much stuff. But he just keeps on running away with the donkey. At this point, I'm getting pretty confused, pretty annoyed. He gets a lot of the stuff off the donkey. I go over, I kill the donkey. He gets a free arrow hit on me. And at this point, I'm not looking too good. They keep getting free hits on me, keep getting free bow shots. I'm clearly about to lose, and I place some strategic blocks, but it doesn't matter. At this point, I'm really not liking my record quite as much as I was at the start, because at the start, it was looking pretty good. I got the first, 12 or 13 without getting a single loss, but now I'm at 31 to 20. I'm not really loving that. I was getting arrowed here, so I figured I'd build a survival house. Guy came around the corner, got a little jump attack on me. At this point, I have no idea how much health he's on, although I should have probably, now that I'm thinking about it, because I could have seen his health from below, and he beat me. At this point, like I said, I'm getting very concerned. I think I'm going to lose my winning record. I did actually predict, though, before I did this 100 duels, I actually predicted that I was going to lose probably like 40 to 60 or so, but that's okay, because now we're fighting Elmo Gaming. I don't really have a whole lot of faith that I can lose to somebody named Elmo Gaming, and as it turns out, I really can't. He hides in a tower. I kind of freeze for a second, like, are you serious, bro? Figured I'd let him get out, give him an opportunity, but he didn't, and I got my first flawless, which is cool, but he was also just giving me the win. And I wasn't feeling quite as good about my epic victory there. We weren't fighting Elmo Gaming again, but once again, we were fighting the man, the myth, the legend, OTCL. He was back. After multiple hours of being offline, I came back on and fought OTCL again. This time he was using a donkey kit. I don't know why donkey kits are suddenly so common around 6 p.m., but for some reason, OTCL, while he was gone, apparently turned into Technoblade, and for some reason he was getting all sorts of crazy hits off. At this point, I couldn't see him. I thought he might be invisible, and so I was just kind of watching for him. Eventually, I saw him. He came around the corner there, and I noticed he was back on his donkey. At this point, I was kind of not feeling too confident. I figured I'd just wait and try to heal up a little bit. He tried to jump up on the donkey and hit me, but I wasn't going to let him do that. And this was my first tower of the video. Now, I know I'm not too proud. Shouldn't be too proud about towering, but I really was just, I wanted to heal up. I figured I could jump down, maybe have a chance to kill him. He starts building a line of blocks. Not really sure why he did such a thing. I just kind of break my path behind me, making sure he can't get back up here. He's kind of staring me down. He's still on the donkey for some reason, riding his mighty steed into battle. And at this point, he starts towering still on the donkey, which really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Finally, he ditches the donkey, and so he's building up. I considered pulling a dream and trying to jump off and land on the donkey. And at this point, I was like, ooh, maybe I can just hit him off. I jump over, I hit him, get a free hit on him, come down further. We start trading hits. He gets a couple hits on me, and at this point, I'm not feeling too good about the duel, but I think I might win. And sure enough, it was a one-click for both of us, and I got it. Now, epic as that last duel was, it was not over for me and OTCL. I placed a few strategic blocks on the way over to get him. I tried to get his donkey as fast as possible because I know he's using the donkey. If I can try to kill his donkey quickly, he can't get enough stuff. So he didn't have as much stuff this time when we were fighting, which definitely made me happy. But for some reason, he was like hiding behind his donkey. He knew he could just run away on the donkey and heal, and also grab some stuff when he could, and I was pretty annoyed by that, but it is a good strategy. I killed the donkey, but I think he probably got just about everything out of it, other than that one chest plate and the random piece of raw beef. Saved the beef for later in case I might need a little snack, and I went up to kill him. This time, for some reason, he was no longer Technoblade. Now, OTCL seemed to have enough of me, which I could totally understand. This time, though, we had Urky 6-7 something or another, and he was throwing more snowballs, and I was not really too happy about that. I was kind of feeling irky about it, you could even say. And so, at this point, went in for the final exchange. He was totally not ready for me, but he did get ready, and for some reason, I could not hit a single hit. I don't know what happened to me, but that's alright. I still managed to beat him in the end. I was just trying to keep chasing up to him, catching up to him, kept placing strategic blocks, and he kept placing cats. The cats hit me for some reason. Not really sure how a cat hits me. It's a little embarrassing. But obviously that was just a fluke, because Urky is literally a PvP god, so much so that he placed a strategic tower, and I had to tower up after him. This is the second tower of the video, although this time I was kind of forced into it. Started building over, trying to be pretty cautious, hoping he's not going to hit me off. For some reason he took his armor off, and was going invisible in the tower, which doesn't make any sense, because if he tries to tower over me, I can just see where he's placing blocks. I'm not really sure what his thought process was, if he was going to jump off the tower and fight me. I don't quite understand what was going on in his head. I don't think he knew what was going on in his head. But his invisibility pretty quickly wore off. I was just hanging out in my tower. I saw no reason to go down after him. He was trying to bait me, so I figured I'd just wait around. He was the one who towered in the first place, so he was going to wait for me. And he finally put his armor back on. I was hoping he would just forget about that and leave it off, but unfortunately, he did actually remember that he had armor. Not really sure why he wasn't snowballing me off the tower at this point, because in 1.8, the snowballs actually hit. So that probably would have been a good idea. At this point, I was getting kind of bored. Now he finally decides to use snowball, but I managed to block clutch and not lose much health from it. And we go in for the final exchange. He almost got me, but then I realized how low he was, and I went in to kill him. Now, if you guys are still watching this video, you should obviously subscribe because I am literally a PvP legend. I am literally Technoblade. I just got hit with a potion. Not really sure why he did that potion. I just kept kind of backing up, and he didn't get in fast enough to do anything, and I killed Urki. Now, at this point, I was kind of questioning Urki's skills on this game, but it's alright because I was gladly going to take some free wins here. He started towering once again. It was a little annoying, but again, it's free wins. I'll happily take that any day of the week. He started towering over to me. I was like, alright, I'll just kind of knock him over when he gets over here. He, for some reason, teleported up because he's got some crazy low ping. He kept trying to potion me. Obviously, that wasn't going to work. I was just going to back up. We were both kind of just staring each other down. I was waiting for him to make the move because I figured I could capitalize on it and probably kill him. At this point, I go over, knock him off. He was too busy trying to break my wood, and I killed him. Alright, so we started the next duel. This time I'm fighting a new guy, Raphael. There's a random burning arrow on the ground. I picked it up in case I needed it later on. For some reason, he was just kind of towering around. I don't know if he didn't notice me coming or what. He placed a bunch of chicken jockeys, once again taking strats from the Minecraft movie. At this point, his skeletons and his chicken jockeys were beating me up, but they accidentally boosted me into him for the kill. Now, normally I don't like fighting mobs in Hypixel, but I was pretty happy that I just got Minecraft Manhunt boosted into Dream. But this time he places the mobs again. This time they're not quite as helpful, but once again, he kind of sucks at PvP. He's just trying to hide behind his skeletons, which doesn't really work because the skeletons do, like, no damage. Next up, we've got another Night v Night kit with Raphael. I guess he figured he had to show his true colors about how great he was. Placed some strategic blocks. He actually got the first hit on me, but that's alright because he randomly stopped attacking. Then he randomly turned into Technoblade once again. I'm not really sure how this guy suddenly got so good, but that's alright. I turned around to try to fight him. At this point, I thought I was going to lose, and for some reason, I clutched it out. Now, if you thought that epic kill last time was cool, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Once again, we've got an MVP++ rank guy. I got the first hit. I thought I might actually win to an MVP++ rank, and I did. Now, at this point, my ego was being sufficiently stroked once again. I was feeling pretty good about my record again. This guy was placing strategic blocks all over the place, and also randomly turned into Dream. I'm not really sure how that happened, but that's okay, because I was going to place my own strategic blocks back, although they weren't strategic enough because I forgot to get my sword out to fight the battle. Now, at this point, we're 2/3 through the video, and since we're 2/3 through the video, if you guys would leave a little like down below, leave a little comment as well. Let me know what kind of stuff you guys want to see. If you want me to do more videos like this, if you want to see like 100 axe duels on another server, if you want to see 100 of really anything, I'll happily do it. I'll happily do 100 days in Minecraft. I've got a lot of cool plans for this channel. I know this is kind of the first video on this channel in a while, and I appreciate you guys' support. Now, I forgot to mention that we're fighting Raphael again. We actually have for the last 2 videos while I was yapping and advertising my YouTube channel, but that's alright. Raphael is back. I was kind of hoping I could fight another Ninja Turtle, but Raphael's fine for me. Once again, we're fighting Raphael. We're at duel number 69. Everybody comment below hype train for duel number 69. And once again, Raphael gets the honor of fighting my 69th duel on Hypixel Blitz Duels. Not ever, but in this video. Now we're at duel number 70. Now that's a perfect opportunity for me to advertise my other YouTube channels. For those of you that don't know, this is not my primary YouTube channel. I have another YouTube channel called The Space Ginjaninja. That is the top link in the description. It's a whole YouTube channel dedicated to video games besides Minecraft, and I'm kind of branching out here and doing some Minecraft stuff separately on this channel. I also have another YouTube channel called GeoGeninja, where I do a bunch of geography-related video games, such as Dummy Nation or Age of Empires. Now, as you can see here, that guy randomly jumped over my head. But I got that victory. Now we're fighting Urki once again. Urki is back. Urki's kind of becoming one of the more common ones I'm fighting in this battle, and it seems like almost every time he's trying to tower up, although for some reason he was very slow about it this time. I had poison, and I figured, you know what? This guy likes to tower. I might as well tower. I figured my poison would last for a little bit longer, and it would be kind of an issue for me. Unfortunately, or I guess fortunately for me, it really wasn't an issue. But now I was stuck in a tower, and I kind of had to wait for him to come to me, unless I kind of tried to jump down on his tower. I guess he didn't notice that I jumped down, and he started towering himself, so I kind of fast-stacked over to him, tried to get a free hit. Unfortunately, all that happened, I took some fall damage, but he started running away when he had a health advantage, and he paid the price for it. Now, at this point, I was feeling very confident, because if I won this duel, I could no longer have a losing record. Urki started towering once again, and like I said, my expectation for this video was that I was going to end like 40 to 60, but I already completely destroyed and shattered that record. He was shifting in the tower, and at this point, if I just could beat Urki one more time, which I definitely feel confident in my ability to do so, I would be at 50-23, which would mean I'd already have at least a tie guaranteed on the 73rd duel. So that was I was feeling pretty good about that. I was thinking I could get a pretty good record here. He actually kind of tricked me there. Urki kind of got me, and he almost beat me for it. Yeah, I did not expect Urki to knock me out of that tower there. For some reason, I started this duel kind of AFK. Not really sure what happened there. Thankfully, I had at least a tied record guaranteed now. That guy spawned some ocelots. I'm not really sure why he would do something like that. But for some reason, he just turned around and let me get off like 3 free hits before he got out his sword. Now, you might be a little surprised why I didn't bring up this guy's name. Last duel, this guy is literally called Nuglet MC. I'm not really sure what's up with that. It's kind of a weird name. He's using the snowballs again for some reason. He comboed me like crazy, but I still won. Now, at this point, I was very happy that I was always, when the people that I was fighting multiple times, I was always winning to, for the most part. He spawned a witch. I kind of just stood back, figured I'd let him, use the potions. Kind of figured I'd come in and kill the witch, but the witch actually got me with potions, and I guess he didn't really know what was going on, but he got me anyways. Now, I was pretty annoyed that I'd lost another duel to a mob spawner. Mob spawners, archers, and fishing rods are definitely the most annoying things for me. I'd rather people just run in and we do a little combo. We try to get the best combo with a sword and stuff. That's always, I think, the best form of duel. But if you guys disagree, make sure to leave a comment down below. Let me know, what is your favorite kind of duel? I really just like kind of like sword duels on 1.8. And I also kind of like the modern 1.16 duels. I'm not very good at them, but I do enjoy them. I shouldn't have lost that one there. I just I really had a bad aim. Unless somebody gives me another suggestion down in the comments, my next video like this, I'm hoping to do axe duels on PvP Legacy, probably another 100, but I'm also totally down to do another 100 duels on Hypixel, whether you want me to do another, like a different type of duel, or a different kit, or if you just want me to do 100 more Blitz duels. You can see I built another survival house here, trying to dodge this arrow spammer guy. And I did so successfully. Although, I guess, to be fair, calling him an arrow spammer is a little bit unfair. He's not really a spammer, he's just an archer. I just really don't like archers. He built a little pillar around again. Figured if I could get behind the pillar, he would have built some protection for me, which is very nice. I kind of used his pillar to build me a little, not really a survival house this time, but a small little structure, maybe a little bridge or something in survival mode. I'm not really sure what these pillars were here for. I just kind of jumped over them, went in here to try to get the kill. And luckily, that guy is not very good at actual combat. He's good at his bowing and stuff, but he's not really good at fighting in close range with a melee weapon. So I guess that makes sense why he's trying to stay back. Thankfully, this guy actually has some brains. Everybody else who I've fought who was an archer has just got close to me, which makes no sense. Once again, I'm building a little survival house here. He wasn't really ready for me. I came around the corner, got a free hit there, and got a few free hits, and he didn't switch to his sword until it was too late. No, I'm really liking fighting this guy because he's not very confident in close range. So as long as I can get pretty close to him, or force him to get pretty close to me, I'm pretty confident in my ability to win, because he's an archer kit. Now, he did tower up, which was a pretty smart idea, but I figured, you know what, I'll just build a little survival house here, start a little SMP, and if he wants to come over and have a little chat, we'll happily do something like that. But yeah, at this point, I was figuring I was just going to hide behind this house, not let him get free hits on me, and I figured I'd make him come to me, and that's exactly what I did. Placed a few strategic blocks. He was not going to fall for it, though, and he went out to hit me with the bow a few times. He got a couple good hits. At this point, I'm getting a little scared, but once again, he doesn't take his sword out until, like, way too late. Once again, we're on probably my favorite map, which I'm definitely happy about. There's definitely some I prefer more than others. If you guys have a favorite map from this video, let me know which one. At this point, I'm trying to use his pillar to get around him. I kind of juke him, get a few free hits for it. This time, he actually does take his sword out in time, and he almost gets the victory, but I managed to clutch it out. Alright, now we're fighting a new guy. Once again, he has MVP plus rank. I'm not feeling too great about my odds here, but that's alright. I have a record of 58-25, so that's pretty good. Even if I lose this duel, I'll be good, but I did not lose the duel, which I was pretty happy about, as I'm sure you can imagine. This one I'm fighting XX Gamer, something Boo77. I don't know, man. This guy's got a weird name. He places a couple of strategic blocks. They don't really do anything. Not really sure if he's trying to start a survival SMP or what, but he totally misses his potion, hits the second one, but it doesn't really matter because he got too close to me, and all I had was blindness. So I wasn't really too concerned about not seeing because he was literally 4 feet from my face. But that's alright. X-Gamer and we had a little rematch going on here. I kind of ran back at him. He still had the same kit. I was kind of thinking he was going to do some more potions and stuff on me. He pulled out his bow, though, with, like, Punch 47. And at this point, I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm going to have to start a little survival SMP with this guy. So I built myself a little house to try to protect me from some of the bow shots. I'm really hoping he comes up close to me, because that would definitely be the ideal situation. I kind of peek out. I'm not really sure where he went. I'm not sure if he used Invis. And turns out he actually did. He snuck all the way around me. He almost got me, but I kind of realized just barely in the nick of time. He almost got me with the Punch 47 bow, but I managed to kill him. Now, at this point, I was very happy to have a new opponent. This time we have Big something balanced or another. I don't know if he's got a big balanced diet or what exactly is balanced, but the good news is my record is more than balanced, because I'm definitely winning pretty handedly, I would say, at this point. 61-25. It's a pretty good record. He's got another archer kit. I'm not really sure why he keeps doing these random blocks and everything. They're definitely not tripping me up at all. He did actually get, finally, a couple hits off me. Got a little concerned here. He took me down some health, but for some reason he did not come in to capitalize on the health he had took me down until he finally did towards the end. Got some crazy combos, turned into Technoblade. At this point, I think I'm going to lose, so I built a little survival house real quick, thinking maybe I can, get around him, and he manages to bow me over the top. So I got a little busy. I had to come do the last 13 duels right at the end, and another session on a different day even. So this has been 3 sessions. We've done these 100 duels over. This guy comes out. He blinds me once again. It's a new day, new me. I'm ready to get my perfect record for the day. I need to win 13 more to get the perfect record for the day. I'm not really feeling too confident about it, but that would be pretty cool if I could. This guy really barely gets any hits off on me, and I'm feeling really confident about this duel. He starts running away. He knows he's scared. He knows he's low, and at this point, I'm pretty annoyed because I'm just kind of chasing him down, but that's alright because he just keeps on blocking. And eventually, he gets backed in a corner, tries to tower up, but I was too close, apparently closer than he thought. Now we're back on my other favorite map, fighting Or More Gamer. This isn't the same guy as before. He's a totally new guy. He's got, I think, that kit with the Punch 47 bow. We're probably about to find out. Yep, as it turns out, he does have the Punch 47 bow. And once I figure that out, I'm like, all right, I guess I just have to build a little structure here. Maybe he'll come over to me. Maybe he'll have a little chat. I'm definitely down for a chat, but he's just kind of waiting for an opportunity to get me at my feet, so I kind of try to block it off for him, hoping to try to lure him into using his bow. At this point, I'm not really sure what to do, so I kind of just wait, hoping he'll come to me eventually, or we'll time out and tie. But whatever the case, eventually he finally comes over. We go on different sides, juke each other out. Eventually we go in actually to fight, get him stuck up on this ledge, and I get the victory. Or More Gamer and I are not done, because for Duel 90, we're fighting again. I'm trying to use some strategic blocks here to try to get up to him faster. He's finally ditched the Punch Bow kit. He thinks he can show me up with some crazy combos. He eats a gap because he needs it, because I'm too good for him. I suddenly turn into Technoblade for some reason, and I nearly flawless him. Now, for whatever reason, this time around, it took me like 45 minutes to make a match. I'm not kidding. I am kidding. It wasn't quite 45 minutes. But there was a long time between these last 2 matches. Nobody was in. Everybody was busy. I think everybody was trying to sabotage my YouTube video when I was on Duel 91. But I killed this guy with ease. Alright, next up we're fighting Coded Verse. I'm not really sure if he's like a game developer. Who knows? I don't know what the guy is, but whatever the case, I'm going to kill him. And once again, I'm crazy with my strafing today on this last session of the duels. And I'm hoping I can employ the same tactics for Mr. Schaff here, or Scharf, or whatever his name is. But whatever the case, he places a pillar to try to get me. Unfortunately, I get him. And at this point, I'm feeling pretty confident about getting a 70% win ratio, which is definitely pretty dang good. So I'm really kind of hoping for that. I'm fighting the same guy again. He wasn't very good last time, but for some reason, he turns into Technoblade, gets some good combos, and beats me. Now again, I'm feeling pretty good about my record here, but I'm really kind of hoping to get that 70-30 win ratio, maybe even 71-29. That would be pretty nice too. At this point, looks like I'm about to win this duel, and I lose once again. At this point, though, I get another opponent, so I get a different shot, this time with low stars. And really, again, I'm really trying to fight for this 70-30 win ratio, because I'm really hoping that I can get that. But honestly, I shouldn't get too discouraged, because even 67-28 is pretty decent. Now, I'm not sure if all the Minecraft gods suddenly came on, or if I just suddenly started sucking. Not that I was ever great, but I built this strategic pillar here, which actually did help me out a little bit in the beginning, but I still lost the low stars. At this point, I still hadn't given up hope on my 70-30 because I didn't know what duel I was on. I actually thought I was still somewhere in the low 90s, like 92 or something. So for this video, I actually recorded a full, like, 8 extra duels because I lost count. But at this point, you know, I didn't realize I was at the second to last duel. I really thought there was still quite a few more to go. So here I am going in, fighting the Prince here. He places a strategic block, which I literally just walk around. At this point, I'm thinking I'm going to get the victory here with his mushrooms and stuff. And luckily, I do, because he kind of sucks. Not to spoil anything, but as you can see, I'm about to get the victory here. He's just kind of running around. I'm chasing him down, trying to click him. And he does get another hit or two off, but I do manage to get the win. Now, though I didn't know it, this is now the 100th duel. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have any suggestions for other duels I should do, any other sort of, you know, like, different types of duels, any sort of other 100 things, if you want me to do, like, 100 of anything, really, I'd be happy to do it. But again, thanks all for watching. If you want to watch the other version of this video, there's one that is, like, unedited. It's the live commentary of these 100 duels. So if you want to watch that, I would definitely appreciate the support. Overall, I think 68-32 is definitely a lot better than I expected. Like I said, I figured, like, 40-60. So this is actually, like, way better than I expected. So any tips or anything you have for me on PvP, I'll be happy to hear them. And without all that said, check out my other channels in the links in the description. Check out all my links in the description for my Discord server as well. And with that all said, thanks again, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.